The jungle was silent in a strange way, as if every creature was holding its breath. Tall trees stood like dark giants, and the air smelled of wet leaves and danger. The river ahead was slow, deep, and too quiet. Only one sound kept repeating. Again and again, the soft footsteps of a young alien girl being pulled forward. Her name was Rila. She was small, thin, and weaker than the rest of her tribe. Her skin had a soft blue tone, and her eyes were big and scared. Today, those eyes were filled with tears that she tried hard not to let fall. The tribe warriors did not care. They pushed her forward as if she was nothing. Rila walked with shaking legs. She knew where they were taking her. Every child in the tribe feared that place, the river's edge, where the croc beast lived. A monster. A god. A curse. Different people said different things. But everyone agreed on one thing. If you are thrown into that river, you will not come out alive. The warriors stopped near the water. The trees above blocked the sun, casting long shadows over the river. Everything felt heavy. Too heavy for a girl like Rila. Elder Vorik stepped forward. His voice was cold, like stone. "Rila," he said, "you were born weak. You bring sickness. You bring misfortune. The tribe cannot carry you anymore." Rila opened her mouth to speak, but no words came. Her breath trembled. She had always known the tribe did not want her. But she never imagined this would happen, that they would feed her to the river creature. A small group of villagers stood behind the warriors. Some looked away. Some watched silently. Not one person spoke for her. Not even one. The river water moved slowly. Then it stopped. Then it moved again, this time with a deep, heavy sound. Like something huge was waking under the surface. Rila felt her heart freeze. Everyone stepped back except her. She was alone at the edge. The water cracked open. From the dark depths, the croc beast rose. Its thick, armored body reflected the dim light. Its red eyes opened like burning fire. Its jaws were wide enough to swallow Rila whole. The beast growled, and the sound made even the warriors take another step back. Rila fell to her knees. Her voice finally came, small and broken. "Please, please don't do this." But the tribe did not listen. Two warriors grabbed her arms and pushed her forward. Her feet slipped on the wet ground. She waved her hands desperately, trying to stop herself from falling. The croc beast moved closer. Its teeth glistened like sharp stones. Its deep growl shook the earth near the river. Rila's last tear rolled down her cheek. She closed her eyes. And then, a loud sound cut through the jungle. Thud. Everyone turned. Someone had landed on the ground behind them. Heavy footprints approached. The warriors tightened their grip on their weapons. No one knew who or what was coming. From between the trees, a tall figure walked out. His clothes were torn, dirty, and covered in scratches. His skin was pale compared to the tribe. His eyes were sharp and full of fire. It was a human. Creature the tribe thought only existed in legends. The warriors froze. Even Elder Vorik took a step back. The human looked at Rila. Then he looked at the croc beast. Without a word, he walked past everyone, as if they were not even there. Rila stared at him with shock and fear. "Who?" she whispered. He didn't answer. Instead, he started running, straight toward the croc beast. The tribe gasped. The elders shouted for him to stop. The warriors yelled warnings. But he did not listen. His feet hit the ground faster. Rila could not believe what she was seeing. The human jumped high, powerful, fearless, and landed right on the back of the croc beast. The beast roared in rage. The river exploded with water. The human grabbed its thick scales with both hands. He held a sharp metal tool, something Rila had never seen before. The tribe watched in shock. None of them had ever dared to touch the monster. But this stranger, this human, had just attacked it. The beast twisted wildly, trying to throw him off. But the human stayed on its back, shouting with pure courage. Rila's eyes widened. For the first time in her life, she felt hope. The human lifted his weapon and yelled, "Not today!" The croc beast roared. The human struck. And part 1 ends with the river shaking under their battle. Asterisk. The river exploded with powerful waves as the croc beast thrashed under the human's weight. Water splashed high into the air, hitting the rocks and spraying across the warriors' faces. The tribe had seen storms, wild beasts, and battles before, but never anything like this. Rila crawled backward on her hands, dragging herself away from the violent splashes. Her heart beat fast, but her eyes stayed locked on the human. There was something in him, something she had never seen in anyone. Not fear, not hesitation, not doubt. He fought like he had faced monsters before. The croc beast swung its tail with a loud crack. The tail slammed into a tree, cutting it in half. The human jumped at the last moment, grabbing one of the creature's thick horns to avoid being crushed. The tribe gasped. Some covered their mouths. Others stepped even farther back. Elder Vorak whispered, "This is madness. No human could survive that." But Mark, was the first time Rila heard his name held on with a strength that shocked everyone. The beast dove under the water with him on its back. The river swallowed them both instantly. Rila's stomach twisted. No, he can't," she whispered, her voice breaking. The surface of the water calmed. Too calm, too quiet. The warriors shook their heads. "He's gone," one said. "No one fights the river beast and returns," another added. Rila stared at the still water. She wanted to scream. She wanted to run. Something inside her felt heavy, like she had lost something important, even though she didn't even know him. Then, the water moved. A whirlpool formed. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3. Suddenly, the croc beast shot upward with a giant burst of water, roaring with pain. And on its back, still holding on, was the human. Rila gasped. "He's alive!" Mark pulled himself up and struck the beast's neck with the sharp metal tool again and again. The creature roared and twisted, shaking its body violently. The human used the momentum to roll with the movement, pushing himself to the side and landing on a large rock. His clothes were soaked, his hair dripping, but his eyes burned like fire. The croc beast lunged at him. Water rushed behind its massive jaws. Mark didn't step back. He stepped forward. He grabbed a long fallen tree branch lying beside the water and rammed it into the creature's mouth. The beast snapped the wood to pieces instantly, but it slowed down for a second. A small second. A dangerous second. And Mark used it. He leaped forward and slashed at the creature's glowing eye. The beast screamed and dove back under the water, shaking the ground as it disappeared. Silence fell again. The water bubbled. Then stopped. This time, the tribe waited with fear and anticipation. They had no idea what would rise from the river next. Rila held her breath. Then the croc beast floated back to the surface still, unmoving, defeated. The human slowly climbed out of the water, breathing heavily, holding onto a rock for support. Blood ran down his arm. His legs shook. But he stood tall, refusing to fall. The tribe stared at him like they were looking at a legend from their oldest stories. Mark looked at Rila first. She expected him to shout or boast or demand something. But instead, he reached out his hand toward her, his voice soft. "Are you hurt?" Rila couldn't answer. No one had ever asked her that before. No one had ever cared. Two warriors whispered to each other, shocked. He saved her. He fought the croc beast. For a weak girl? Elder Vorak stepped forward, trying to hide his fear. "You dare interfere with our rituals, outsider?" Mark looked at him calmly. "I dare stop a killing." Gasps echoed through the tribe. No one had ever spoken to an elder that way. Vorak raised his staff angrily. "You are not welcome here." Mark didn't raise his weapon. He didn't step forward. He simply stood between Rila and the tribe, like a shield. "I won't let you hurt her," he said quietly, but the words were sharper than any weapon. The warriors hesitated. They had never seen anyone challenge their elder, and they had never seen anyone defeat a river monster. Rila slowly stood, shaking legs barely supporting her. She stepped behind the human, her voice weak but clear. "He saved me. He saved all of us." Mark placed his hand gently on her shoulder. "You deserve to live." Rila's eyes filled with tears, not of fear, but of something new. Something she had never felt before. Hope. The tribe stood frozen, not knowing what to do next. But one thing was clear. Nothing in their world was the same anymore. The jungle felt different after the fight. The air was heavy, the ground almost vibrating from what everyone had just witnessed. The tribe stood in silence as the croc beast's body drifted slowly down the river. Birds had stopped singing. Even the wind seemed afraid to move, and in the center of that silence stood the human. His clothes were torn, his arm bleeding from deep cuts, and water dripped from his hair onto the muddy ground. But his eyes were steady, calm, watching everyone carefully, like he was trying to understand the strange world he had just stepped into. Rila stood beside him, still holding her trembling hands together. She didn't understand why her heart was beating so fast. She had never felt safe around anyone her entire life, not even around her own tribe. But next to this human, she felt something new. She felt protected. Elder Vorak finally spoke, breaking the silence. "Take the girl away," he ordered with anger in his voice. "And lock this outsider. He is dangerous." Marky had not yet shared his name, but Rila had heard it whispered when he fought the beast, looked straight at the elder. "I didn't come here to fight your people," he said slowly, breath still heavy. "But I won't let you kill a child." The warriors hesitated. They had seen the human fight. They had seen him survive something they feared deeply. None of them wanted to be the one to step forward first. Elder Vorak slammed his staff on the ground. "He is a threat. Humans disappeared generations ago. Their return was never a blessing." That sentence caused murmurs among the tribe. Humans disappeared? A return, blessing or curse? Their eyes turned to the human with a mix of fear and curiosity. Mark held up his hands, palms open. "Listen," he said, voice calm despite the tension. "My ship crashed far from here. I don't want trouble. I don't want power. I just want to survive, and I won't watch innocents die." Rila stepped forward, surprising even herself. Her small voice rose above the whispers. "He saved me," she said, "when none of you did." Her statement fell like a stone into the river, heavy, unavoidable. Some villagers looked down, ashamed. Others glared at her with anger. How dare the weakest girl speak against the elder? But Rila didn't step back. For the first time in her life, she wasn't shaking because of fear. She was shaking because of courage. "He is not our enemy," she continued. "The beast was." Mark looked at her with a small, warm expression, something like pride. Elder Vorak's eyes narrowed. "This girl was born weak. Her words are worthless." Mark stepped forward slightly, just enough for the warriors to instinctively raise their spears. "Where I come from," he said in a deep voice, "a child's life is worth more than any tradition." Those words hit the tribe hard. They weren't used to such thinking. Their world was ruled by strength and fear, not compassion. Finally, a different elder, a woman named Mari, walked to the front. Her face was kind but stern, her eyes wise. She studied Mark carefully, then turned to Rila. "Child," she said softly, "tell me, why do you believe he helped you?" Rila swallowed and looked at Mark. "Because when I fell," she whispered, "he ran toward me, not away." Mari nodded slowly, then she turned to the warriors. "We will take the human to the village," she said. "Not as a prisoner, but as a guest. For now." Elder Vorak slammed his staff again. No, this is dangerous. Mari didn't even look at him. Everything is dangerous, she replied. But this man saved one of our own. That is a fact. The tribe murmured again. Some nodded. Some grumbled. But no one openly challenged Mari. The decision was made. The warriors lowered their weapons, though many kept their hands close to the hilts. Just in case. Mark finally relaxed his shoulders. Rila stepped closer to him, trying to hide her relief. You will come with us? She asked softly. Mark looked at her with gentle eyes. I have nowhere else to go, he said. So yes. The walk back to the village was tense. Warriors followed closely, watching the humans' every move. Villagers whispered from behind trees when they saw him. Children hid behind their mothers. Rila walked beside him, glancing up at him every few seconds. Are all humans like you? She asked quietly. Mark gave a half smile. No, he answered honestly. Most humans don't fight giant river monsters. She blinked, then tried to hide a tiny laugh. As they approached the village gates, Mark saw tall wooden structures, decorated huts, and carvings of old stories. One carving caught his eye, an ancient picture of a human standing beside the tribe. His steps slowed. Rila noticed. You saw it too? She whispered. Mark nodded. Yes, humans were here before. Long ago. Rila looked at the carving again. What happened to them? She asked. Mark's voice dropped, becoming colder. That, he said, is what I need to find out. And as they stepped into the village, every eye watched them. The human. And the girl who dared to defend him. The real story had only just begun. The village felt older than the jungle around it. The wooden gates creaked as they opened, revealing huts shaped from thick tree roots, tall torch poles twisting like vines, and carvings of faces that watched silently from every corner. Mark looked around with sharp eyes, studying every detail. He had traveled across worlds, but this place, this tribe, felt different. Rila walked close to him, her steps quick, almost nervous. Warriors moved around them, forming a half circle, not attacking but not trusting either. Each one carried a spear carved with bone tips. Their eyes followed every movement Mark made. Children peeked from behind huts, whispering to each other. A human? Is he dangerous? Why did he save her? Mark stayed calm. He did not want them to fear him, but he also knew he couldn't force trust. Elder Mari led the way, her wooden staff making soft taps on the ground. She brought them to a large hut made of layered leaves and bright purple vines. It was the tribe's hall of memory. Inside, the air felt heavy and cool. The walls were covered in paintings, stories drawn in red clay and white ash. Old faces. Old battles. Old gods. And humans. Mark stopped in front of one painting. A tall human man stood beside the tribe's ancestors, holding a strange tool that looked like a weapon and a torch at the same time. Beside him stood a small girl, similar to Rila, though this story was drawn centuries ago. Rila noticed his expression. You know them? She asked softly. No, Mark whispered, touching the wall carefully. But humans left their mark everywhere we went. We traveled far in the past. Too far, maybe. Too much. Mari stepped beside him. This painting tells of a time when humans helped our tribe survive the Great Night, she said. When the sky turned dark for many seasons and strange creatures hunted us. Mark listened quietly. But one day, Mari continued, the humans disappeared. They left without a reason, without a goodbye. Some say they abandoned us. Some say they were taken. Rila gasped. Taken? By who? Mari sighed. Not all secrets should be spoken aloud. Mark turned to her. I need to know, he said firmly. If humans were here before, why did they vanish? Mari looked into his eyes. Her own eyes were wise, full of years of knowledge, Because, she said slowly, not all tribes welcomed them. Some feared their strength. Some envied their skills. And some saw them as threats. Mark understood instantly. Just like Elder Vorak sees me. Mari nodded. Rila clenched her fists. But Mark saved me. Why does Vorak hate him? Mari's expression darkened. Vorak believes strength means power. He rules with fear. A warrior who can defeat the croc beast threatens his control. Rila's eyes widened with realization. So he wants Mark gone. As those words left her mouth, someone outside shouted, Elder Vorak approaches. Mark stepped away from the painting. His body stiffened slightly, ready to defend if needed. Vorak entered with 3 warriors behind him. His eyes didn't even look at Rila, only at Mark, with cold anger. This human cannot stay here, Vorak said. He is a danger to our order. Mari lifted a hand calmly. He saved a child and killed the beast. That is not danger. That is protection. Vorak's voice rose. Humans brought chaos in the past. We will not repeat history. Mark stepped forward, not aggressively, but with a firm stance. I am not those humans, he said. I didn't come to rule or destroy. I only defended someone who needed help. Vorak sneered. This girl? He pointed at Rila. She is a burden. A weakling. Let her fate be a warning to others. Rila's heart stung. Years of pain came rushing back. Mark's voice became low, almost dangerous. In my world, we protect the weak. Maybe that is why your tribe stopped growing. Because you let fear lead you. The warriors shifted uncomfortably. Some even looked embarrassed. Vorak's face twisted with rage. You dare insult my leadership? I'm speaking the truth, Mark replied calmly. Rila stepped between them, her small body trembling but determined. Stop, she cried. Killing me will not make our tribe strong. And pushing away someone who saved us will only make us weaker. Silence filled the hut. Vorak stared at her, this weak girl who dared to speak. His jaw tightened. We will discuss this in the night council, he said stiffly. Until then, keep the human watched. If he steps out of line, he dies. With that, Vorak left the hut, his cape brushing the ground angrily. Mari shook her head. He will not stop, child. He sees danger where there is none. Rila looked at Mark. You should leave, she whispered sadly. Before he hurts you. Mark shook his head. I won't leave you alone with people who think you are worthless. Her eyes softened with fear and gratitude. I placed a hand on both their shoulders. Then you must learn the truth, she said. Both of you. She pointed toward the back of the hall, where a dark tunnel led underground. Down there, she whispered, lies the secret of why humans disappeared. And why your tribe fears them still. Rila held her breath. Mark's hand tightened on his knife. The truth was waiting in the darkness. Asterisk. Night fell slowly over the tribe, covering the village in deep shadows. The torches glowed weakly, as if even fire was afraid to burn too brightly. The jungle beyond the walls felt restless, alive with noises that didn't sound normal. Leaves shook without wind. Low growls echoed from far away. Something was wrong. Rila sat beside Mark near the guest hut where he was kept under watch. 2 warriors guarded the entrance, but they kept a careful distance. Nobody wanted to stand too close to the man who killed the croc beast with his bare hands. Rila hugged her knees and looked up at him. Mark, she whispered. Mari said the truth is in the tunnels. We should go soon. Mark nodded slowly. Before they change their minds. He could feel the tension in the air. The tribe was scared not just of him, but of what his presence meant. The old stories, the warnings, the questions. He felt it in every stare, but something else was bothering him too. Something he felt deep in his bones. The jungle was too quiet. Rila felt it too. Her ears twitched slightly, picking up sounds others didn't notice. Then, crrrrunch, a tree cracked somewhere beyond the river. The ground vibrated softly. Mark stood at once. What was that? Rila swallowed hard. It sounded big. Before Mark could reply, a horn blasted from the guard tower. Warriors shouted from the walls. Something is coming. From the riverside. Prepare weapons. Rila's eyes widened. No, it can't be. The beast is dead. Mark grabbed her wrist gently. Stay behind me. But they didn't even reach the gate before the ground shook again. Boom. Boom. The torches flickered wildly. Smoke curled through the air. Villagers ran out of their huts, gathering children, grabbing spears. Fear spread like fire. Warriors climbed the towers, aiming arrows toward the dark jungle. Rila whispered, voice shaky. Mark. Something else is out there. Mark narrowed his eyes. No, not something else. The same thing. Rila froze. But you killed it. I killed one, Mark said. But predators like that, they hunt in pairs. As if answering his words, a massive roar burst through the night. Deeper, louder, stronger than the first beast. The trees trembled. Birds flew into the sky in panic. The warriors in the tower lost their balance. A giant shape moved in the darkness. Mark stepped forward, instincts taking over. Rila, stay close to the wall. Don't run. Don't shout. The creature stepped into the torchlight. It was bigger than the croc beast before, twice as big. Its scales were darker, tougher. Its red eyes glowed like burning coals. Water dripped from its giant jaws, sharp teeth glistening under the firelight. The villagers screamed. Warriors tried to aim their spears, but their hands shook. Even Elder Vorak stumbled backward. Rila whispered, "This one looks angry. More angry than the first." Mark nodded. "It wants revenge." The beast roared again, shaking the wood on the walls. Warriors jumped back as its tail slammed the gate, splintering the thick logs. Mark grabbed a long spear from a terrified warrior. "Rila, go hide." But Rila didn't move. "No. You'll die if you fight alone. Rila, I'm not leaving you." Her voice was louder than ever. Mark saw the fear in her eyes, but also something else, determination. Before he could reply, the beast struck again. Its massive tail hit the gate a second time, breaking the bottom half. Warriors shouted, trying to repair it, but it was no use. The beast was too strong. Mark ran straight toward the gate. Rila followed him. Warriors yelled, "Stop! It's suicide!" Elder Vorak shouted, "Let the human go. If he dies, the beast will leave us." Those words made Rila turn around with anger she had never felt before. "You would let him die? After he saved us twice?" Vorak glared at her. "He is not one of us." Rila stepped forward, voice breaking with emotion. "But he saved me when no one else did." Before Vorak could respond, the beast pushed its head through the broken gate, jaws snapping inches from the ground. Mark didn't wait. He jumped onto a wooden cart, pushed off with his legs, and launched himself straight toward the creature's face. He drove the spear into the beast's snout. It roared and thrashed, sending Mark flying backward. He hit the ground hard, dust rising around him. Rila screamed, "Mark!" Mark groaned, forcing himself up. The spear was broken. The beast was angrier than ever. Rila ran to him, pulling his arm over her shoulder. "You can't fight it alone," she sobbed. "Let me help." Mark looked at her. "You're brave. But bravery must be smart." She shook her head. "I won't let you die for me again." The beast roared and charged. Mark grabbed Rila's hand. "We fight together. Stay behind me and follow my steps." They moved as one, Mark leading, Rila close behind. Dodging the beast's deadly tail and snapping jaws, the warriors watched in shock. Mari whispered, "The girl they called weakest stands with the strongest man we have ever seen." But the fight had only begun. The beast turned. Its red eyes locked on them both now. Mark tightened his grip on the broken spear. Rila steadied her breath. The monster charged with full power, and the night exploded with battle. The night burned with chaos. Screams, cracking wood, the roaring monster, everything mixed together like a nightmare made real. The croc beast's bigger mate smashed through the broken gate, its huge body crushing torches and sending warriors flying. Mark and Rila raced aside, just as the beast's jaws snapped where they had been standing a second earlier. Dirt flew. Splinters cut the air. The whole village shook, but even as fear spread like fire, Mark noticed something strange. The beast wasn't attacking randomly. It wasn't hunting for food. It wasn't here for the tribe. It was focused on him. Mark's breath tightened. "It followed me, not the tribe." Rila looked up at him, scared and confused. "What do you mean?" He didn't answer yet. His mind raced as he pulled her behind a wooden pillar to avoid another sweeping tail strike. The beast roared with rage. Warriors surrounded it, but were thrown aside easily. Elder Vorak shouted orders, his voice trembling. "Aim for its eyes. Block its tail. Stop standing like cowards." But even Vorak's voice held fear. The tribe had never faced a beast this size. Rila trembled. "Mark, it's stronger than the first one." Mark nodded, watching its movements carefully. "Yes, and smarter." He knew this kind of behavior. He had seen predators on other planets seek revenge when their mate died. But this one, it wasn't just angry. It acted like it recognized him. "You smell like blood from the first beast," Rila whispered suddenly. Mark's eyes widened. "That's it." Before he could explain, the beast lunged at them again. Mark pushed Rila aside and rolled to safety as its jaws smashed into the ground, tearing up a huge chunk of earth. The ground cracked, and something clicked. Loud hollow boom echoed beneath the village. Rila gasped. "That sounded like a cave." Mark's eyes sharpened. "No, a tunnel." The same tunnel Mari had mentioned, the one that held the truth. The beast stepped back, growling at them with fire in its eyes. Mark grabbed Rila's hand. "Rila, we need to get to the tunnels." "But the beast, that's exactly why we must go. This thing didn't come here by accident." Rila didn't fully understand, but she trusted him. She nodded. They moved low, dodging between huts as the monster attacked the central square. Warriors threw spears and arrows, but they bounced off its hardened scales. Elder Vorak pointed his staff at Mark. "Human, you brought this curse here." Mark didn't deny it. "Maybe I did," he shouted back, "but I will end it. That is what I fear." Vorak yelled. But before he could say more, the beast charged straight at Vorak's group. Warriors scattered. Vorak stumbled back, tripping over his own cape. For a moment, it looked like the beast would swallow him whole. Mark turned away from his escape path. Rila grabbed his arm. "Mark, don't, he hates you." Mark answered softly, "That doesn't matter." Before she could stop him, Mark sprinted toward Vorak. With a loud shout, he picked up a broken shield and slammed it against the beast's nose, forcing its jaws away from Vorak. The beast roared, swinging its head and throwing Mark sideways into a wooden post. Pain shot through his back, but he stood again. Vorak stared at him with shock. "Why, would you save me?" Mark breathed heavily. "Because that's what humans do." Rila stepped beside Mark, glaring at Vorak. "You call me weak, but he saved me. Twice, and he saved you." Vorak looked stunned, speechless, but the beast was not waiting. It roared again and charged toward them. "Mar!" I appeared suddenly, shouting, "Into the tunnel, all of you." She pointed to a heavy stone slab behind the Hall of Memory. Two young warriors pushed it aside, revealing stairs leading underground. Mark grabbed Rila's hand and ran toward the tunnel entrance. Vorak followed behind, injured and shaken. Mari entered last. As soon as they were all inside, the stone door slammed shut, cutting off the sound of the beast's roar, but only slightly. The ground still trembled. Dim light from glowing moss lit the walls. The tunnel stretched far down like an ancient secret path. Mark panted, wiping blood from his elbow. What is this place? Mari breathed hard, her face pale. The place where we hide the truth. Rila looked around. The truth about humans? Mari nodded slowly. Yes, and about the beasts. They walked deeper, the walls showing old drawings, humans standing beside the tribe. Then humans fighting beasts. Then something darker. Something hidden. Mark stopped at a large mural. It showed humans killed by croc beasts, and croc beasts following human scent, hunting them, seeking them. Rila covered her mouth. The beasts. They hunted your kind? Mark touched the drawing. Yes, and it explains why the beast attacked the tribe now. It wasn't here for you. He turned to them with dark eyes. It came to finish what it started long ago. Mari nodded sadly. And that is why your people left. Not because they abandoned us, because they were hunted. Rila's voice shook. Then, will it stop? Mark looked toward the tunnel entrance where faint thunder-like roars echoed. No, he said quietly. Not until I face it. The truth had come out, but the real danger was only beginning. The tunnel shook again. Dust drifted from the stone ceiling. The deep roar of the beast above sounded like thunder rolling through the earth. Rila held Mark's arm tightly as they moved deeper underground. Elder Vorak limped behind them, silent and pale. Mari led the group with her torch raised, the flames flickering wildly as the ground trembled again. This tunnel was made by your people, Mari said, voice echoing against the walls. The last humans built it, before the beasts forced them to flee. Mark listened carefully. How many survived? Mari lowered her head. Very few, and none ever returned. Silence filled the tunnel. Mark didn't say anything, but Rila could see the sadness in his eyes. Humans had come here long ago to help the tribe, and instead were hunted, one, by the same beasts he now fought. The stairs ended at a large underground hall. Glowing stones lined the walls. In the center stood a stone slab with carvings, humans fighting side by side with tribesfolk. A human leader, tall and brave, stood at the front. Mark touched the carving gently. My people left a warning here, Mari nodded. A warning. And a promise. Rila tilted her head. Promise? Mark stepped back so they could all see the carving clearly. At the bottom of the stone, a simple message was carved in two languages, human symbols and tribal symbols. When darkness rises again, a human will rise again. Rila gasped softly. It's talking about you. Mark didn't answer. His jaw clenched. His eyes lowered. He didn't feel like a hero. He never wanted to be one. He had crashed here by accident. He had fought to survive. He had protected Rila because she was innocent. But this carving, it felt like it had been waiting for him. Suddenly IAK. A loud impact hit the tunnel wall behind them. A shower of dust fell. The beast was trying to break into the underground chamber. Vorak panicked. It followed us, even here? Mark turned toward the tunnel entrance. It won't stop until I stop it. Rila grabbed his arm. Mark, you can't fight it alone. He looked down at her. No, I'm not alone. Mari stepped forward. Child, you have more strength inside you than any of us understood. But if you go with him, the danger. I'm not leaving him, Rila said firmly. Mark smiled a little. That settles it. The beast's roar grew louder. Stones split. Claws struck the outer wall, shaking the carvings. Mark picked up a long ancient spear from the wall left behind by the old humans. It was heavier than he expected, but balanced. A perfect weapon. Rila grabbed a small blade carved from bone. "I can help distract it," she said. Vorak looked at them both, guilt tightening his face. I judged you wrongly. I called you weak, Rila, and I treated you like a curse." He bowed his head. "Forgive me." Rila blinked, surprised, but she nodded gently. There was no more time. The wall cracked open. The beast burst through with a roar that shook the chamber. Its eyes glowed red. Its body filled the entrance, scales scraping stone. Its jaws opened wide, dripping with thick saliva. Mark stepped between the beast and Rila, spear raised. Rila stood behind him, ready to move when he moved. Mari and Vorak backed away, giving them space. The beast charged. Mark spun to the side, spear slicing across its jaw. The creature roared and smashed its tail against the ground, sending Rila tumbling, but she rolled and stood instantly, throwing her bone blade at its eye. It scraped the beast's face, making it jerk its head. Rila shouted, "Mark now!" Mark leapt, using a fallen stone block as a spring. He landed on the beast's back, gripping its thick scales tightly. The beast thrashed, slamming itself into the walls. Stone cracked. Dust exploded into the air. Mark held on, crawling toward its neck, the weak spot he saw on the carvings. Rila ran forward, dodging the deadly tail, shouting instructions. "Left side, under the ridge. That's where the old warriors aimed." Mark found the spot. He drove the spear down with all his strength. The beast roared in agony, twisting, shaking, trying to throw him off. Mark shouted, "Rila, the knife!" She ran closer and threw him another small blade from the ancient rack. Mark caught it and stabbed deeper. The beast smashed its head into the wall, collapsing the tunnel entrance. Rocks fell around them. Dust blinded everyone. But Mark didn't let go. One last strike. The beast collapsed, its body shaking. Then falling still, silence. Heavy, deep silence. Mark slid off its back, blood dripping from his arms. He fell to one knee, breathing hard. Rila ran to him. "Mark! Mark!" He smiled weakly. "I'm okay, because you were with me." Tears filled her eyes, not of fear this time, but relief. Vorak and Mari bowed before them. "You saved us all," Mari said softly. Vorak stepped closer, humbled. "And you, Rila, you are not the tribe's weakest. You are our bravest." Rila wiped her eyes, smiling. Mark stood slowly, looking at the painting once more. "Humans once helped your tribe," he said. "Maybe it's time we rebuilt that promise." Mari nodded. "And maybe you have found a new home here." Rila looked up at him with hope. "Will you stay?" Mark smiled, placing his hand on her shoulder gently. "For now, yes." The tribe repaired their walls. They built a stone statue of Rila and Mark standing together over the defeated beast, symbol of courage and unity. And for the first time in her life, Rila wasn't the weakest girl of the tribe. She was their future protector. And Mark, the human who came from the sky, became the legend they would never forget.